This is the Common Sense Club on Flag Plus.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Common Sense Club. Steve Hallstrom, Jay Thomas, Scott Hennon will be here momentarily. We are here because we must hate ourselves. Have nothing better to do with our lives.
Yeah, we're geeks, man. I'm not kidding. We're probably two of the very few people that are going to watch this debacle about to take place in 20 minutes.
I don't know that Joe Biden's family is going to watch this. It might be that bad.
I don't think so, man.
It might not be. I think really it's an exercise in toughness building, to be quite honest with you. And you wouldn't do this unless it was a job or, as Jay said, you were slightly insane yourself. But we are going to be here to do a thoughtful and critical analysis of Joe.
Well, you go ahead and do it. I'm not going to be thoughtful.
Of Joe Biden's State of the Union address. We have no idea what to expect tonight, other than Donald Trump will be blamed for just about everything.
Oh, of course we do. By the way, folks, we have our. I was going to surprise the boys with my Joe Biden bingo card, but Steve had the same idea. Great minds, buddy. So we'll be playing along Biden bingo tonight.
Biden bingo, yes. You can play along at home. I'll put this up. If you can see this, you probably can't. I'm going to walk over a little closer there. Okay, so if you can see any of those categories there, you can make your own card at home. I put a Cookie Monster in for the free space in the middle because we had to have something. I found this wonderful shot of Joe Biden, the man who gets more done before 8 o'clock than most people get done all day.
I should have put an ice cream cone in my center square.
That would have worked too.
Oh, dang it.
Maybe Hunter and some sawdust.
Oh,
that
a little sawdust, the white
sawdust.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, already issues. I don't know how bad it's going to be. Nobody's been arrested yet. But you got the pro-Palestinian protesters gathered at the intersection of Constitution Avenue and 3rd Street in Washington, just a few blocks from the Capitol. They're trying to disrupt the proceedings as the president makes his way over to the Capitol. But it sounds like about 100 people.
So the Democrats are eating their own tonight a little bit here in this deal. Yeah.
Pretty much, yep.
Hasn't it been fun to watch these primaries where people will say uncommitted because they don't like the stance on Israel and Gaza?
Yeah, tonight's, let's you and I talk here real quick. I know we watch Bumbling Joe. Yeah, he's just going downhill. And I think a lot of people think tonight we're going to see that. I mean, this State of the Union, how long does this thing take minus all the claps and applauses? But you have to look at it like this. He's going to get up, Steve. He's going to say a line or two. And then what happens? Everybody stands up and they clap, and that goes on forever. That's going to give him time to rebound and regroup. So I don't think we're going to see him stumbling and bumbling as bad as we
I don't
think. Because he's going to have these breaks, basically.
Yeah, so
what gets tore up tonight behind the president?
He probably hasn't done anything all day.
No.
Yesterday, maybe the day before, which is par for the course, really, in a 3-day span for the president. So they're going to make sure that he's at his very best tonight. The guy who mixes up the cocktail of drugs has been hard at work in the lab trying to find some way to make sure that Joe looks as good as possible tonight. And I can only hope that there's a little, well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I will. A little mishap, nothing sinister, you know. But just to see, Joe on 20 Red Bulls would be a lot of fun here to see what happens.
Thad, glad you're listening. In Valentine, Nebraska, he missed us over the primaries. We had to take a break. We just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, well, it turned out there wasn't much to talk about anymore. Super Tuesday wasn't all that super as far as drama, although it was pretty darn good for Donald Trump.
Yeah, good night for him. And again, the primaries, we knew how this was going to come out. We knew what the ending was going to be.
We've known for a while. Nikki Haley was one of the last to really catch on to the whole thing, but apparently she's seen the handwriting on the wall now, too.
The Dems finally decided they're done giving her money. So the tour bus is up for sale, probably at Barrett Jackson auction or something. You know what I'm saying?
Something
low
like
miles.
That. Yeah, so I don't know what to expect tonight other than it'll be more of the same. We're going to hear all kinds of things, and a number of them are on our bingo card tonight. So, you're going to hear them saying MAGA Republicans a lot. We think we're going to get a lot of that.
Assault weapons. Ban.
Yep, we're going to have that. It's a threat to democracy. They're going to say that a few times as well.
A few blames are going to be thrown out there on Putin.
On Putin?
Yeah,
absolutely,
Putin.
yeah. I hope that we get, and I have this on the bingo cards, I hope Mike Johnson tears up the script at the end of the speech, just like Nancy did to Donald a few years back.
Are we going to see somebody tear something up tonight?
Let's hope that happens.
Joel Whisper. I got that on my bingo card.
Creepy whisper. Yeah.
Got the whisper. Do you have that on yours too?
I do. Does a creepy whisper.
I just has Joel Whisper. Same thing. Okay. Of course we're going to hear. Come on. Climate crisis.
Yep. Climate change is an existential threat. Is disoriented with his surroundings. I think that could absolutely happen tonight. And you'll notice the free space is Cookie Monster. So
I like that.
There might be, I think, Joe, if you didn't see that, go back and find it. Because I was laughing with Joe actually for the first 10 seconds of that until I realized that Joe really thinks that there is a Cookie Monster, and he was really surprised that Cookie Monster was seeing less cookies in his bag of goodies.
I'm quite sure at some point here, if he makes it all the way to the end of his term, we'll see the Cookie Monster at the White House.
Yeah,
we'll see those two eating
I think Joe sees the Cookie Monster on a fairly regular basis.
January 6th will be mentioned tonight.
January 6th, yeah.
No.
I've got Dog-Faced Pony Soldier.
Oh,
too.
Oh,
you
boy.
might have that.
Ooh, okay, all right.
And then one of our Matt from Moorhead texted me right after. So these all came from my show, by the way, the Steve Ahlstrom Show, 4 to 6 weekdays on the Flag WZFG. I get the mobile app, or you can smart speaker. Just hey, Alexa, Google, whatever, play AM 1100 The Flag. And I said, I want you all's thoughts on this. What do we put on the bingo card tonight? So this came all from my listeners. Listener Matt, as soon as the show ended, he said, I got one more for you. He says he's going to say the stuff like stop or applause in the teleprompter thinking he's supposed to say it.
Okay.
So those teleprompter cues, he thinks
that's a good one.
Matt thinks that he's gonna read that.
That's a good one. I
think that's absolutely fantastic.
Hey, Ronnie, in our chat room, by the way, you can watch us on, of course, the YouTube channel. If you're watching us, you know that already. But you can go to AM 1100 The Flag, the YouTube channel, and you can chat along in there. And if you start getting nasty, we will block you. I mean, we're going to let you have your opinion. This is America after all. But if you start, just getting over the top nasty, just be civil, have fun, okay? Voice your opinions. That's what it's there for. Ronnie says $10, says one of those idiots gets in and disrupts the State of the Union address tonight, gets tossed.
Oh, like Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody like that?
No, one of these pro-Palestinian protesters.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. From Thad, he wants to know, guys, top 3 picks right now for VP. I say I'm starting to lean more. You and I were talking about this on your show, by the way, Steve.
Yeah, which party are we talking about now?
What do you mean, which party?
Democrat or Republican?
Well, Republican.
They're not going to kick Kamala out.
Does the Democrat Party matter? They're not going to win. Up. All right, look at Joe. He's leaving.
Up from his nap.
He's leaving. Look at him. Boy, he's
running 20 minutes late, according to Fox News.
Well, that's because of those pro-Palestinian protesters that had to get him out of the way. Doesn't he look just ready to go?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he gave the little fake.
He took a break from his demanding schedule he usually keeps, where he's working 20 hours a day over the last day or two.
He did the double fist pump.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Like he's surprised he didn't fall over.
Try to jog out and fall down.
I wonder how long they choreographed that.
Top 3 VP picks for Republicans. I'm going with Thad in the chat room on AM 1100 Flag's YouTube channel. I am going with Ron DeSantis. I'm starting to lean guys more towards Tim Scott, and I would throw in there without a doubt Kristi Noem.
I'm with you on a couple of those. DeSantis would be my number 1 pick. I don't know that he'll be the guy, but I hear a lot of steam about Ben Carson, hear a lot of steam about your guy, Tim Scott, and then Elise Stefanik from New York, too. Hear that a little bit. I don't know. Trump said a couple, 3 months ago he knew who it was going to be. And then he said, 2 weeks after that, he said, well, I've got some ideas, so I don't know.
He told me on Monday that
Scott, you had him on your radio show Monday.
He was a ways from making the decision. But he did say Burgum would be a good pick. So I got to put Burgum on my top 3.
You're going to put Burgum couldn't say no because you were asking him from North Dakota.
He could have said no.
By the way, this is Scott Hennon, and he's the guy that gets Donald Trump on his show.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I might get a city councilman on my show. Scott gets the former president. And hopefully the next president, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do we got going on there? All right, en route to the Capitol. And really, Biden.
20 minutes late. This is just such classic Biden.
We want to go home tonight, all right, dude? So get over there and get this done. Hey, Steve, your clip's ready to rock and roll. What do we got going on?
Yeah, so Kevin Cramer, U.S. Senator out of the great state of North Dakota, which, by the way, if you're just joining us and you don't know like who these idiots are that you're watching on your YouTube just because it popped up and you thought they looked dorky enough, you'd see how bad the train wreck would be. Well, we're coming to you live from Fargo, North Dakota today, and one of the freest states in the country, we might add. And our senator today, Kevin Cramer, we have two, just like everybody else does. We feel very special about that. Kevin Cramer was on with Maria Bartiromo, the money honey, on Fox Business this morning. And I can say that's not a sexist comment. It's what they call her in the business. She used to be on CNBC before she went over to Fox Business. They call her Money Honey. Well, she does a morning show on Fox Business, Mornings with Maria. And Kevin Cramer was on with her today. And Maria said to Kevin, we are getting some advanced information here, some leaks about what the speech will contain tonight. And she said, we are definitely going to hear about corporate greed and that corporations are ruining the middle class in America. And she asked Kevin Cramer how he would respond to that.
Well, the beautiful thing about this election year is that the contrast between two candidates could not be clearer because they've both been president and both of them have a record. And middle-class Americans know which presidency they were better under economically. And middle America and middle-class America were the ones that were left out in previous administrations prior to President Trump, and they're the ones being left out now. And by the White House's own admission, obviously, how they can blame that on greed or on Republicans when they've been controlling the government for the last few years, that the government that raised interest rates and that raised inflation much higher than families' incomes. I don't know how they can lay that on Republicans. And frankly, I don't think it passes a smell test for these very Americans who he says he's going to try to help.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and I asked the panel here whether or not it's going to fly. Do people really believe it when he blames other people for the inflation situation, which, of course, skyrocketed to 40-year highs within the last year? It is still up 18% on his watch. Would you attribute this inflation largely to the excessive spending in some regard, $6 trillion in borrowing on his watch?
The very nature of and the very foundation of inflation is when you have too much, too much demand and not enough of supply, or on the money side, too much supply, creating the demand for the products and the supply chain that's broken.
The actual description and inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods.
And so how do you look back when he became president? We were already coming out of the tough economy created by a pandemic, where there was a lot of money flooded, to say the least, into the economy because we were sort of flying an airplane while we were building it. But then Biden comes into office and he wants to flood another $2 trillion, all borrowed dollars, when we're already coming into recovery. And that really it was the fuel on the flame, in my view, of inflation. And then you throw on top of that the continued spending, when they used pure partisan politics to pass all of this spending. It's the very definition and the creation, and then you have a broken supply chain at the same time. And so all of these things were under his watch, and by the way, a 100% Democratic government watch.
But you're agreeing to it again, right? I mean, the House passed 6 spending bills to partially fund the government yesterday. Lawmakers combining the funding for 6 federal agencies into the so-called mini bus instead of an omnibus. That's worth $460 billion now. That bill is headed to the Senate. Where does it go from there, Senator? I mean, Speaker Johnson says Republicans are making gradual changes and are making reforms to the funding process. But at the end of the day, you're still working on Nancy Pelosi's budget, aren't you? Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey wrote this on X. The Republican-led House just passed a minibus that spends tens of billions more than Pelosi's House spent on the same things last year, Senator. You going to agree to that?
No, actually, there's a reduction from the 2023 dollars, an actual reduction. There's a slight increase on defense spending, on the defense side of all of this, including the next minibus that's going to be the bigger challenge, I think, for all of us. So while not where we would be if we were in control, it's certainly an improvement. And frankly, frankly, there wasn't regular order, which is always my greatest frustration, but there was more regular order this time than there's been for several years. Now, we didn't take each of them up one at a time, but at least the Appropriations Committee voted them all out in the Senate. These 6 bills passed out of committee by a total of 170 to 1, which means there's strong bipartisan, even very conservative support, as well as obviously Democratic and liberal support. In a divided government, I think is probably the best that we could do.
There we go.
Well, I guess.
So that was Kevin Kramer on with Maria
thing.
Bartiromo this morning. They went from State of the Union commentary into a little bit of the spending piece, which I think is an important piece there. And I think you heard Kevin Kramer say it just depends on whose math you want to use if they're cutting spending. I don't know. I hope they are doing what Senator Kramer says. No reason to think that he's twisting the facts on this one. But we need to, at a point when we're as far in debt as we are and things are going as nuts as they are down the southern border, we need to make sure that we're getting the right things done. So hopefully all sides on the conservative party can agree on that.
All right, let's get some business done here. We're coming up. President Biden about 20 minutes late. He's supposed to start at 8, probably about quarter after. Well, we'll see. Hey, if you want to jump in on the conversation, the Common Sense Club, real easy, 701-271-1100. You can jump on and be with us knuckleheads and hang out and voice your opinions. You can also email us, studio@flagfamily.com. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, you subscribe to it, click that bell. You'll get notifications when we got new videos out or we throw anything up on that YouTube channel, and it's free. So it's AM 1100 to Flag on YouTube. And before I get to the calls, real quick, guys, because I've got some inside at tonight's State of the Union, I was able to get a snapshot. You know how the president holds his cards because he's got his instructions on there.
Certainly.
And one of my buddies there got me a screenshot, one of his handlers holding the card, and what he's got on his card tonight is just read the teleprompter. Don't soil your pants. No sniffing anyone. You are Joe Biden. And also on there, no ice cream if you screw up. So that's what's when you see him holding that card. Yeah. Hey, out to Lakes Country. Justin, you're first up on a Common Sense Club tonight. What's up?
Yeah, you guys were talking about the vice president pick a little bit ago. And a couple things. I think, I've heard the same thing that all you guys mentioned. And, he kind of keeps teasing that he knows that, he's still in indecision. Well, yesterday on Charlie Kirk's show, Sebastian Gorka said that he knows the pick, that Trump told him, and that he dropped a big hint. He said, all I can tell you is it's a proven congressman. So, and it's somebody that's not being talked about. So that kind of rules out DeSantis, and it certainly rules out any women because he did say himself.
This is assuming that Sebastian Gorka isn't trying to feather his own nest a little.
Ah, there you go.
I mean,
maybe
he's a little bit of a self-promoter.
These guys are the ones talking to him too. So he said he would tell Charlie Kirk off air who it was. So anyway, thought I'd throw that in.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Thanks,
who do we
man.
like?
Appreciate it.
Byron Donalds, could someday be. I don't know if
I thought he said a senator
enough,
but maybe he said member of Congress.
Oh.
Because the way Justin said it was a House member, so then you'd have to start thinking, Byron Donalds.
That's what Justin said, yeah.
But I somebody called about that on the show today too, and said Sebastian Gorka said a member of Congress, and he was what he said. But
well, is Senate technically a member of Congress? I guess they kind of are, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it could be a senator, it could be a representative. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know. That doesn't rule out a whole lot of people.
I'm just going to take Trump at his word that he hasn't decided yet.
Come on. He's decided.
At this point, you'd think he would know.
He once again, he's playing the Trump branding. He's getting people going, getting them, he knows. He knows.
Well, you'd think so at this point. I don't know.
I'm still leaning more towards this Tim Scott.
What's with the choice of attire by some of the Democratic female members of the...
What did I miss?
Those are judges on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
No, that's...
Scott, those are judges.
Behind them. Look, they're all wearing white.
Well, I'm
not this again. Is this the Hillary white pantsuit thing?
Yeah, we'll see here.
Remember that?
I do remember that.
Hey, look at...
All I can think of is Mike Johnson is sitting up there next to Kamala Harris, and they want to strangle each other right now.
They haven't said a word to each other.
No.
The body language is a little tense there. This is what we're left to speculate about the body language between Kamala Harris and Mike Johnson, because sleepy Joe Biden needed an extra 15 minutes of nap time.
This is going to be one pathetic State of the Union tonight. It really is.
Yeah, what's the deal with the white lab coats, I wonder?
We'll find out.
This is how they roll.
Let's see.
Ketanji Brown Jackson sitting in front of, who is she sitting? In back of. I think she might want to cuff somebody upside the head, too. I think she's had about enough of this.
You think so?
Well, they're actually acting fairly cordial. The judges are.
Oh, they get along.
You think so?
Yeah.
9-0 the other day. They got along.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I thought that was all right.
Here we go again with Mike Johnson, the speaker, and Kamala Harris.
Mike's got to tear up the speech tonight, doesn't he, at the end?
Oh, please. Do not repeat
so
that
great.
low light.
He would get. He might be the vice president if he does that. Donald Trump might have a plane waiting for him right afterwards. Say, "Come on down to Mar-a-Lago. Let's work this out. If you're going to tear up the speech."
Come on.
All right, so we got to wait for Joe.
Come on, dude.
Mitt Romney and Joe Manchin are having a nice heart-to-heart.
Mittens.
Saw him in at the airport last week on my way back from Washington, D.C.
Did you flip him off?
No, I said hi. I said hi, Mitt, but he was trying the hat really low.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like you couldn't.
Yeah.
But I spotted him and I said hi, Mitt.
Do you think Mitt wears hats very often? Mitt doesn't seem to me to be a hatter.
I'm in shock tonight. Hennon's got a hat on. Welcome to the club, bro.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
You're odd man out there.
I've been working all day, fellas. I don't know. I went from the radio show to this.
Dude, I can go get you a hat right now.
No, I got it.
I know you're not a hat guy.
I kind of am. Not here, though.
No. All right.
Not here, though.
801, 802.
What are we doing? We're going to kill like 10 more minutes here,
I know.
for gosh sakes.
We were ready to go all Mystery Science Theater 2000 on this thing at 8 o'clock. Now we got to wait 10 more minutes.
I'm going to start drinking soon, and that's not going to be pretty for anybody here.
I get my couch, so, buddy, you have to find another place.
White House press corps is being escorted in.
No. 701-271-1100 if you want to jump in on a conversation, help us kill time as we wait for the...
There's Kelly Armstrong.
Where's Kelly?
Right there with his back to us. Just turned his head right now.
Talking to the gal in the red dress.
Navy blue suit there.
All right.
Yep.
Kelly's balding a little bit. Or was that looking
you
at the wrong
spend time
guy?
out in D.C., brother, and you'll be right there with him.
That's true, exactly.
Pull your hair out, too.
Yeah.
Do you think MJ... Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. You think MTG is going to get after Joe again tonight in the speech?
Well, now, here's what I heard. Speaker Mike Johnson put out a message to everybody that he wanted decorum. But she
doesn't follow the rules.
Yeah, you think she's going to pay attention?
She already said she would reserve the right to call him a liar if he lied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means she'll be standing up a lot tonight? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe so.
All right, so Nikki Haley's out. Do we think she resurfaces again as an independent or a no labels or something like that? Or
Oh, no, she said she wouldn't. Oh, just like she said she wouldn't run against Trump.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that, so maybe we can't take her at her word. She said no on no labels, but I don't know if we can believe her or not.
People change their minds in D.C. sometimes. I've noticed that to be true. Who scares you the most if Joe tips over?
I told you who. Gavin Newsom. Guy terrifies me, man. He's
Can't
the
believe
guy.
Jay Thomas is scared of Gavin Newsom.
Well, not in a fist fight.
Not a fist fight.
In the bar.
Cold cock him one. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about this guy. We've talked about it before. The guy is smooth. He's slick. He's got that Hollywood look. People that don't really
Kinda
follow.
like me. I mean, really.
Kind of
when
like
you think about
Hallstrom.
it,
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's Steve could be a stand-in. I'm telling you, there are many Americans that just do not follow politics. They're busy with their day-to-day activities and what they got to do and get things done. And they see this guy and he can bold-faced lie to you and sell you that lie. I'm telling you, the dude is scary, and he's going to be on this ticket. It is not going to be Biden, man.
Percent chance that Joe Biden is there in November.
Oh, man. I would say, honestly, I wouldn't. I'm having a hard time giving it 20%, Steve.
I'm with you. I'm at 10% maybe.
Yeah. You know, I would feel more. There's Marjorie Taylor right there. Is that her in the blue dress? No, that's that. What's her name from Colorado? Brobart? Is that
Lauren
her name?
Boebert?
Brobert?
Obert.
Yeah, I tell you what, she's a good time too.
Just ask her dates.
Follow. I wasn't necessarily going there, but hey, we're not on radio. We're just on the web, so who cares, right? But that girl is a pistol.
Yeah,
that Lauren Boebert, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes these people get carried away with certain things there. So Joe's going to probably have to tap dance around the Gaza-Israel thing again tonight, don't you think?
Yeah, he will.
Kirsten Sinema is retiring from the Senate. Do we think this matters at all in the Democrat world going into the election of 2024? Her and Joe Manchin. I'm going to tell you what, if they got together on a independent ticket, I would not be happy about that.
Okay.
I think they might steal as many Trump votes as they would steal Biden votes, even though they're both Dems.
You know what I'm watching? I was watching RFK Jr. Interview last night. This dude goes
Joe looks like he's
independent.
going to die. That guy sounds like he's going to die.
Yeah, that's some. I can't remember what that's. It's
got
some
the schmutz
disease.
in there.
Yeah, there's something. It's a disease, it's an ailment he has, and I think it was. I think it came from his years of heavy drinking and partying.
I feel bad for him, but people aren't going to vote for him. He can't even get a sentence out without something.
Well, I know, but
broke.
And it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Look at is that Gates right there?
Yeah, Matt Gates.
And
talk about nice hair.
Yeah,
that guy's got
that dude's got
some salad on there.
He's got Robert Wagner from the 70s hair going, man. He's got that stuff tossed up.
This looks like kind of a frat party, doesn't it?
It does.
Kind of does.
At least on the Republican
side. The gal
side.
in the red dress seems to be making her way into a lot of shots tonight. I'm not sure if that's like her positioning herself for success or if that's the camera guy saying.
Camera guy's going, holy smokes, man.
Hey, if I got to shoot somebody here tonight.
This just in, Mike Johnson and Kamala Harris have yet to talk to each other.
Oh,
Look
man.
They just got the awkward kind of staring ahead.
Yeah. Would you want to talk to her?
Well, good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, she'd be fun at a party, though. I'm telling you, I wouldn't want her running nothing. But if you were at a party on the weekend, she would have 3-4 shots in her and probably a couple of some hooch. And she would be a ton of fun at a party. I'm just going to say this. I like I say,
explain this to me.
Look at
Bernie Sanders is holding a mask.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Has he got a mask?
He's holding a mask. I saw him last week. He was running around with a mask, but he holds the mask.
He holds it.
Is it virtue signaling?
Exactly.
I have one, but I'm not going to wear it, or what?
Some are speculating that all these gals wearing the white, they're thinking it's supposed to show solidarity for reproductive rights.
Well, they should be wearing black then.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Biden.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Where are the Palestine flags from the Democrat side of the aisle tonight? I kind of thought we'd see. We'll see if it's
hold on, wait,
Ukrainian flags.
Let it get rolling, and all of a sudden they'll start coming out from under the chairs.
Tommy Tuberville. Hey, how about this Alabama thing, you guys? Well, we don't have time for that. That's heavy too. But
it's stuff
I had Dr.
follow.
Jensen, Dr. Scott Jensen.
Yeah,
one of my heroes, by the way.
I like Dr. Scott Jensen.
I said, Dr. Jensen, you're a medical doctor. Can you come on and explain this thing? Fantastic. Show archive, am1100theflag.com. It was about 5:35 Central Time, so go about 3/4 of the way through. Mm-hmm. And he broke this thing down. I said, talk to me like I'm 10 about this in vitro thing. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
What was his take on the Alabama case? Which, by the way, today they passed a law that changes all the things that they passed. I mean, to me, that was it was blown into a much larger proportion of what it actually was purporting that they would do than it did. But obviously, the Democrats will take any. What did he say?
5th grade explanation. Goes like this. When couples are struggling to get pregnant, they do the in vitro thing. They put a petri dish and they get some.
I know what IVF is.
Okay, good. Well, I didn't really know. So, okay, anyway, I'll skip because Scott knows, so everybody knows apparently.
Well,
so,
I think everybody knows.
So they freeze. So they might take one of these eggs that gets fertilized, right, and implant that. This is the in vitro fertilization. But then they'll cryo freeze the other 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And if the first one doesn't work or there's a miscarriage, they grab another one. But 10, 20 years down the line, there may still be 3 or 4 of these things that are frozen.
Yep.
And if you believe that life begins at conception and you think one of these things might actually have taken, well, then there's the ethical dilemma if you're truly pro-life about this whole thing. And so he just said this. He said, look, people of faith are going to have disagreements on this. And he said it's just interesting that it happened in Alabama, which is overwhelmingly a red state. So you had Republicans saying, hey, we need to stop this, and you had Republicans say we need to let this keep going. So it's an interesting conversation.
It's a big money deal, too. You know what I mean? It costs a fortune.
Yeah, it costs
it ain't cheap
to do it.
So, I'm not sure what
Robert
happened
F.
to my
Kennedy
voice.
Jr.
Yeah,
joining
exactly.
the Senate right now. Well,
but anyway, what I understand the Alabama thing did was just bring some regulations into,
the Wild West.
Right. Basically say, hey, let's not let this be a Wild West to make a fortune and actually have some regulation of it. Specifically what he was talking about, hey, that is, if you believe life begins at conception, that's a baby that you're putting in the freezer.
Yeah.
Here comes the first lady.
Yeah.
There she is.
Dr. Jill. She's a doctor of what again?
Doctor of, I don't know. I have no idea. No clue at all. Doctor of being a teacher or something. Oh, there's
she
Nancy
should be thrown in
Pelosi.
jail for trotting her husband out as long as she has on this thing.
Yeah, the queen of elder abuse right there.
Get him.
Look at that.
Come get him.
Look, you look at these people that run the country. Look how many, not that against old people, we're all going to get there one day. We're getting closer every day. But, I mean, come on. These dinosaurs need, you just hit the gavel, Johnson.
I'm telling you what, if you go sit sometime and watch all 100 senators come into the well of the Senate, I'm telling you, a good 1/3 of them belong in a nursing home.
Oh, I know, dude. I know, and they're making decisions that affect our lives and the world. It's ridiculous.
We get some cabinet peeps coming in now.
Yeah,
there we go. A little background ambiance noise here coming from our producers. All right,
very good.
I want to see a fist fight break out.
Boy, you almost had one last year at this thing. So there might be. Things haven't got any better since last year.
Merrick Garland, thank goodness he's not in a dress. Imagine if that guy had been on the Supreme Court.
Yet.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes a plane full of migrants that just landed. Oh, no, sorry. That's some cabinet position people there. They're flying them in now.
Yeah. 701-271-1100, by the way. You can jump in with us anytime.
I'm just going to catch up on some emails here.
I got solitaire going. Oh, there's Buttigieg who's completely screwed up the transportation in this country.
Mayor Pete, Joe Kernan took him to task on CNBC. You guys see that?
No, did he?
No.
Oh, yeah. Joe Kernan's awesome. He's one of us. And there's not many of them at CNBC
is
anymore.
CNN lets him have a show?
No, CNBC.
Oh, CNBC,
yeah.
Okay.
I might have said CNN, meant to say CNBC. So Pete was talking about how Joe Biden has done everything he can to secure that border, and Joe Kernan called him on it. And he said, your guy didn't do jack bleep until it became a campaign issue. It looked like he was going to lose by 20 points. Yeah. Now he's talking about it.
Yeah, isn't that amazing how all of a sudden now it's a concern.
Funny how that is. Yeah, and Pete's talking about, we have a bipartisan bill sitting in front of congressional Republicans, and they won't move on it. What does bipartisan mean? Did Mitt Romney get drunk one night and say, I might sign on to that, and so they call it bipartisan?
Oh, it was negotiated by Oklahoma Senator. Why is his name escaping me? Republican.
Oh, Cornyn?
Kirsten Sinema. No, not from Oklahoma. James Lankford.
Oh, Lankford.
So it was Lankford, Sinema, and I forget who the Democrat on the panel was. I guess it was the White House, so that's why they say it was bipartisan. But it was full of poison pills, as you know.
Craig and Moorhead, you're up. Go ahead. Common Sense Club, buddy.
Hey, guys. You know how they always announce how for continuity of government, they always have somebody off not there in case a horrible thing were to happen?
Yes.
My whole life I've thought that it would be the worst thing in the world. This is the first year I've thought, well, it would be almost the worst thing in the world, but I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
I think
Craig,
it'd be a free pass.
Making it real here in a hurry.
Yeah, jeez.
Gosh.
I hate to say that or think like that, but you know what? We're so screwed with the whole bunch of them.
Oh, I know. I'm with you 100%. We got 8 more months of this garbage, or close to 8 more months. It's just the damage. You just sit back and think of the damage that can be done in that short amount of time. It's really scary. Craig, appreciate it listening in Minnesota, 701-271-1100. All right. And
Cabinet's yakking it up with a few folks. Mm-hmm. Biden now officially 15 minutes late.
Because none of us have anything else to do tonight.
No, how's my solitaire game coming along?
Mayorkas, he's about 5'0".
Can we break any news on anything?
You know,
let's just make some stuff up.
Hey, I'll start a rumor. I'm bored. Why not? Let's do it, man. What rumor do you want to start, Steve?
Well, Monday. We can talk about something Monday, can't we? Kind of, sort of.
That's your guys' call if you want to, man.
JT, we can tease this still, right? Yeah. Two big announcements coming Monday on Scott Hennon's show on AM 1100 The Flag. We are bringing. I'm going to try to remember my live read that I did earlier today.
Okay.
We are bringing an entertainer to town
that
people are going to love. And I'm promised you,
all right,
nothing like this has ever come to Fargo before.
Hold on. Hang on.
I don't care where you're from.
Wait.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
Hold on.
Guam.
Wait a minute.
Get on a plane and get here.
Steve Hallstrom promises. I got that on my bingo card. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Cross that bad boy out. That's me in the middle in the blue. We've got it's going to be a ton of fun.
Big.
Yep, a big deal. People have been saying for a while, you got to get this guy to town. We didn't know if we were going to be able to pull it off, but somehow we got her done.
I wonder who it is.
Well, you're not supposed to say it. We're all going to get in trouble.
I'm not going to say.
But he might have said it on his show, I've heard.
Actually, I caught it last night when I was flipping through. One of the talking heads on Fox had him on, and then when he was on there flashing his dates, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, there you go. Big secret. Jeremy, West Fargo, North Dakota, you're up.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
is your Truth social working?
Mine is not.
Upload.
Oh, imagine that.
Weird, huh?
Isn't that weird? Because Trump was going to do play-by-play.
Right. I was going to go between you and him.
Oh,
now it's working. Now it's working. I got to post a...
No, it's not. It's not working.
No, Scott, it's not working. Stop it, Scott. Stop it, Scott.
It's just like Elon Musk trying to get DeSantis' speech. My guy got derailed on minute one. Because he couldn't get his stuff on the air.
It's like Super Tuesday. Facebook and Instagram goes down. Oops.
For a guy who wants to attract blue-collar people, I have to be in Minneapolis, at like 5 a.m. This is BS.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
All right, here we go. Get ready for the fun,
Thanks, Jeremy. Sorry, brother.
Thanks, brother.
We're still a good 5 minutes away from the start.
Joe's got to walk to the stage, which means it might take a couple hours.
Donald Trump posted moments ago, there is a very little that Joe Biden can say that can mitigate the damage he has done to our country.
Well, there's nothing he could say to mitigate it. Nothing.
We are under a migrant invasion, the likes of which has never been witnessed in world history. Migrant crime is rampant, and he just doesn't want to do anything about it. Amazing.
Did you see what Tim Scott said the first line of the speech tonight's going to be?
No.
I'm sorry. You said that's what the first line of Joe Biden's speech, Tim Scott, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fantastic.
First line of his speech should be, I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
Oh. Dumpster fire. Yowza. So Joe is here. He's awake. We think.
Far.
Yeah.
So far.
He's walked about 5 feet into the chamber.
Someone needs to coach him. Don't walk around with your mouth open, just breathing through your mouth. Breathe through your nose.
See him.
It makes you look like you're in some sort of coma.
Look at my bingo cards. See what I'm looking for.
Joe with the mouth open.
Mine are, come on, man. I'm not joking. I'm sure we'll get that.
You should have 2 bingo cards there.
Yeah, I've got them.
All right.
I've got other ones on my list,
Oh,
though,
you
too.
got more. Oh, okay.
Give me a break. Not a joke. He loves that one.
Yeah.
Not joking.
I think I have that on one of mine. Yep, I got not a joke.
Junk fees.
I got wet cough.
Wet cough.
Shrinkflation. Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. We still got time to do this. By the way, if you get bingo first on your card, I'm going to bring this one right over the camera. Take a picture of this with your phone, and then just make your own bingo card or something. If you get it first, hop on the feedback, the chat line, and if you say I got bingo and tell us which 5 you got, we'll and get us your email address. We'll get in touch. We'll send you a flag hat.
There you go.
And maybe a little something else, a little something.
Oh.
See the woman to the right has a Trump 2020 hat on.
Yes.
Who is that?
I don't know. That's that gallon of red Steve was talking about. They kept getting in front of the cameras.
That's so funny. Waiting for him to turn that way, though.
Yeah, this is Steve. That's a little fussy, buddy.
Oh my gosh. This is like the family came to visit Grandpop at the nursing home here. Take a picture of your screen. You want to play a little Biden bingo today with us? The Biden border crisis. Look at the pin. Who is that?
I don't.
Oh, it's MTG. Of course it is.
Is that her?
Sure looks like it.
Yep, it is. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor.
I tell you, that woman's got some
stones.
What do you call a female equivalent? Maybe we should.
Beth.
I don't know.
Beth Dutton.
Beth Dutton. She's right by him, too. She's just in your face. Just here's a big middle finger to you, Joe Bozo. Oh, my gosh. You got to love her,
people taking
though.
selfies with him. My goodness. Come on. Got a country to save here.
No, I can't do this too long.
Look at he can.
I might fall asleep up there.
He's
Look at these people all want selfies. You got to be kidding me.
Well, they're all Democrats. I almost said the other one.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Can we do this later, people? Britt Hume's like, I got to go to bed, too.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man. My cocktail's wearing off.
Oh, man. Boy. Guess no any jokes?
Not ones I could tell. Well, we're not on the radio, but still better not tell them. President approaching the podium. ETA's about 45 minutes at this rate. Do this crap when he's done with his speech. Get up there, do it, and then have your selfies and, your fist pumping. Oh, there's we go with the kisses and the hugs. And 701-271-1100. Hey, what was the first store you went to in the mall in the 80s? Come on, man.
Hey, did
that
you
was
see
actually
this?
a hot topic?
Here goes the selfies again. Oh my gosh, the camera's turned around. Kim, you got to be kidding me.
They don't care.
22 minutes late. Make them later.
Is that Schumer? Yep, that's Schumer back there.
He's part of the escort group.
Scumball. Oh. Just let him get to. Oh, well, Mr. Look at this gal. Oh, Mr. President.
Pose for a picture for me, would you?
Gee, she's got a set of chiclets on her. Look at those teeth.
All right, I have an update on who the designated survivor is.
Who is it?
The Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy, we're in good hands,
Keep
guys.
the schools going no matter what.
We're in great hands. Sleep well tonight.
Oh, fun. It's a campaign rally now.
Oh, God.
Four more years.
Of disaster.
Jeez, it looked like Biden almost gave her the tongue that one gal he kissed.
He doesn't know. She looked like she was 13.
There isn't anybody in that chamber of 535 members of Congress and all their guests that doesn't realize this guy has no business being president of the United States.
I know how we'll get him. Here's how we'll get him. Here's our game plan. 4 more years as he comes in. 4 more. That'll get the American people going. It'll show the American people.
Do you think any of them really want him to
they don't
stay
want
there
him
for 4 more years?
No, they don't want him. But, they got to toe the party line.
Man. All right. Let's check some scores from around the major leagues tonight.
What do we got going on?
This is painful.
There's got to be some...
He's near the end.
Yeah, Scott, he is. Yeah, he's near the end, all right.
Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I wonder if she's got her 8-inch heel pumps on tonight.
Time to retire, Nance.
She ain't retiring.
West Fargo boys lost at state today, but Fargo North and Davies both won. They're in the semifinals tomorrow.
All right.
And we got Cheyenne going tonight against Bismarck High. That game about to tip off. On the girls' side, earlier today, Reminds me of my old days here. Top seed at Minot, 84-45 over West Fargo Cheyenne. They'll take on the Bismarck Demons, the Lady Demons, because that makes it sound way better when we say that. A little bit of a surprise over West Fargo Horace.
What?
69-56.
What?
Davies over Bismarck Legacy 70-56, and Grand Forks Red River beats Bismarck St. Mary 63-31. So it'll be Red River and Davies in one semifinal, Minot and Bismarck in the other girls' semifinal tomorrow out in Bismarck.
He's 25 minutes late. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Emblematic of his whole presidency for
But
crying
that
out
one
loud.
guy's looking clean. I like that coat, that light blue check coat there. That's nice. Why is it that black guys always look so good when they're dressed up? Why is that?
I'm not sure you haven't just stepped in it.
No, I'm serious. They look so like a white guy would not look nearly as clean in that suit as that guy looks.
Clean. Now you're talking like Barack Obama. No, who was it? Joe Biden was that used the clean line.
Yeah.
Did you remember that?
Me and Joe, we're
Speaking
tight.
about Barack Obama.
We're tight.
Oh, look at him hand the.
Joe's like, here's some Jell-O for you.
This guy doesn't even look presidential. The world looks at this and just rolls their eyes and laughs.
All right.
Finally.
He's standing.
Thank
They're
you.
clapping now because he's actually standing.
Well, he's not, Scott. The podium's holding him up.
Oh, that's right.
They're just being nice to him because they know.
Look at him. America loves me. America loves me. Look at Kamala. She's so stoned right
Mike
now.
won't even clap. He's just pounding the gavel like, let's do this.
He's like, can we end this? Because Kamala really stinks like bad weed,
Good
man.
evening. Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now.
Yeah, you would.
The Republicans shouldn't have said anything there.
What'd they say?
Come on, I want something.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans, in January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time.
No ordinary time.
Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union.
Unprecedented?
And yes,
First to
my
mumble.
purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today.
He's mumbling already.
It's going to
What
be
makes our
tough
moment
tonight, boy.
rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond.
Have we got a bingo yet?
If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
Joe blames failure on Putin.
Good job. Jay is on the board.
But Ukraine can stop Putin.
Kamala's giving a standing O for that? He just said he's...
If we stand with Ukraine
Oh, man.
and provide the weapons
Could
it
be a
needs to
long
defend
night.
itself.
Kamala gets paid per time she hops up.
Yep. I want a dog-faced pony soldier. Dang
That
it.
is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined
Another mumble.
to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Don't try to compare these two, Joe. Come on.
Now,
I knew Ronald Reagan. You're no Ronald Reagan there, Joe.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
There we go. Joe blames Trump for something. I got another one.
That was a dumb thing he said, though. I agree with Joe on that.
America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations, created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. We're going to stand up.
Let's hear it for the Swedes.
Welcome.
These are my people.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And they know how to fight.
They really don't.
Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill.
That should have been on the card.
History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
It doesn't matter how many trillions of dollars we have to spend or how much corruption is in your country.
We will not bow
continue to throw money, good money after that.
I will not bow down.
Oh, he loves yelling.
He's so forceful and young.
In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th.
Oh, here we go.
January 6th.
Is that
gotta be on there.
dagger to throw to American democracy. Many of you are here on that darkest of days.
Save democracy.
We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people.
Oh, sure.
January 6th lies.
Joe speaks gibberish, guys. That's a square.
The plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood.
This is embarrassing. Look at Kamala.
I'm going to grab a couple beers and a cigarette. I've had it.
I got some Crown
America
in the third
stood
drawer.
Strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that.
No.
This is the moment to speak the truth, to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
Oh, they worked hard on that line.
Yeah.
Talk to all the 2016 election deniers about that.
Kamala looks like a pop-up, what do you call it, wind-up
As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office of defending against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America.
What is this doing in the speech?
Place.
This is three-year-old
Dude, you knew this
mumbling.
You knew this was going to be an absolute joke.
All they have is to talk about how bad Trump is. They have no policy wins to talk about. Country's a mess.
It's not hyperbole.
Oh,
there you go.
History is watching.
I'm on the board.
We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom.
History is watching.
Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley,
What?
social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF.
Oh, boy.
Oh, here we go.
She scheduled treatments to have that second child.
Why don't you talk about the murdered
The
girl in
Alabama Supreme
Georgia?
Court shut down IVF treatments
Lakin.
across the
Talk
state.
about her, buddy.
Unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF.
AVF. It's the bird flu.
Guarantee it nationwide.
It's the AVF flu. The birds are coming. They got hairy wings.
Hairy wings.
Look up there. Deer in the headlights.
Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right.
Or
I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And so much more.
Oh, reproductive freedom. I should add that on the card. Yep.
Thank you.
Get to some climate change, Joe.
My
I got this
predecessor
3
came to office
places on
determined
the
to see Roe v.
card.
Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox,
Oh, boy.
the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act.
I feel like the
I should have made
Because
one
Texas
card where
law
all the scares were
banned her ability
stumbling.
to act.
figure
Kate
skating
and her
fans
husband
when
had
the
to leave the
skater
state to
falls
get
in
what
the
she
Olympics,
needed.
you know, and everybody goes, oh.
What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber
The treatment they
and my
need.
predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away?
What freedom else
Look.
would you take away?
It's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power.
Too late.
Electoral or political power.
Oh, my
You're
God.
about to
Go
realize
home.
just how much you were right about that.
What did he say?
I have no
You're
clue.
about to realize just how much you're right about that. Look, he's shaming the Supreme Court in the United States right in front of him. He's
Is that
just pathetic.
Schwarzenegger's ex-wife sitting there with the gals he brought in? What was her name? She was a
Clearly.
Kennedy.
Maria Shriver?
Maria Shriver, yeah. Is that her?
Where?
With the gals. Watch.
Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out
Oh, what a.
when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
No, you
By
won't.
the way, Republicans won the House. Did he forget that? 2022?
If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as
What?
the law of the land
We're going to
again.
kill so many babies, you won't even be able to believe it.
Yes.
The one-time pro-life Democrat has fallen far.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Folks.
Let's go back 20 years. See what you were saying
America
then.
cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward.
Can we please go back
I know
like
how
3
far
years?
we've come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear?
Yeah, you
Record
put it in
losses?
everybody.
Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind? A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness.
How'd that happen?
President, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty
This
to
is a
care.
whole
That's so
this
unfair.
speech is about
I
Trump.
think that's unforgivable.
So unfair.
I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history.
That you.
We have.
Okay.
It doesn't make news, but news in 1,000 cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest
Get up
comeback
again,
story
Kamala.
never told.
Stand up. Why don't you just stay standing?
The greatest comeback story never
So
told?
let's tell the story here.
Then you mean ever told?
Tell it here and
No,
now.
he's claiming it wasn't told.
No, told probably.
America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up,
No,
not
not
the top
that one.
down.
That means nothing.
Investing in all America, in all Americans
and
to make
Middle
sure
East
everyone has a fair shot. We leave
fair
no
shot.
one
I got
behind.
that. Come on.
The pandemic no longer controls our lives.
Yeah, fair shot.
The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's
Since
what
when is the
America
COVID
does.
vaccine
drugs
save cancer?
COVID drugs are curing cancer.
Wasn't aware.
Breaking news.
I don't think he's aware either.
My inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record.
They all work in my office.
The envy of the
You are
world.
so full of.
Unemployment
Unemployment?
at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is
That's
a
because they
little
lost
act
their
of hope.
job.
With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans,
How's those polls looking?
800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting.
All of them part-time, but oh well.
Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will.
Oh.
More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before.
Hell insurance. Hell insurance.
The racial wealth gap
Hell
is the
insurance
smallest
is hell,
it's been in
Scott.
20
Look what
years.
we got to pay.
Wages keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower.
I cross Joe gets angry out of the blue on one of the cards because he's done that twice now.
That's true. Yeah.
The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting
We're
American
importing
jobs,
people.
we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong. And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring.
No, it's not.
Buy
It's
America
not.
has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor,
There he goes again.
including some Democrats as well in the past,
Ooh.
failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers.
Well, if there are enough of them to do it, I guess.
Creating good-paying American jobs.
All paid for by the government.
All those American workers coming across the southern border.
Yeah.
And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree.
Huh, that's interesting.
In fact,
how are you making $100,000
my
with a
policies
high
have
school?
attracted $650 billion in private sector investment, in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America.
All paid for by the government. Yep. We like to pick the winners in the Biden economy.
That's
right.
And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you.
Oh, Pete loves that one.
He's probably got a few people on that.
And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage.
Where is that happening?
Just thinking the same thing.
Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in family farms,
Record investment.
Because I'm
Record
invested in family farms
investment.
led by my Secretary of Agriculture who knows more about this than anybody I know. We're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren
Oh
don't have
my
to leave.
gosh.
Leave home to make a living. It's transformative.
Sounds like Charlie Brown's parents.
Great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois. Home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down.
Platt?
Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. Folks,
farms are leaving. This guy's so full of it. We're losing our farms. Our highways aren't getting
I
built.
say, instead of your town being left behind,
like Palestine,
your community's
Ohio.
moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs of the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America.
Stand up, Kamala. Stand up for that one. Atta girl.
Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader.
Of course
Shawn, where
he
are
is.
you? Stand up. And Dawn.
This is just
And Dawn Sims,
garbage.
a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
Veins are popping out of his head.
Yeah.
He loves that hooting and hollering.
Union built the middle class. I don't know how you
I
connect
say to the
those
American
dots.
people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up.
Well,
we
gotta
keep
get back
going.
up now.
I feel
That's America.
so great listening to this.
That's you, the American people.
Oh,
It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
okay. All right.
The campaign rally.
Yeah.
Not a State of the Union address.
Tonight,
Let's go, Joe.
I want to talk about the future of possibilities
Oh, boy.
that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over, and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks.
corporate greed,
And by the
got
way,
it.
I understand corporations. I come from a state
your card,
that
Steve,
has more
corporate greed.
corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor have a way up, and the wealthy still do very well.
How are they doing right now?
We all do well.
Under Sleepy Joe.
And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it.
Or you could be like Ron DeSantis,
For
who
the law.
has ended it.
Yeah.
What I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma.
Nobody woved it for it.
Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to
That insulin thing is
what
a
to
deal,
do
though.
next. I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone.
Well, you've been in office for 3 years, bud.
Why haven't you done it?
Could have got around to it at some point.
People have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money.
They're burning the mask.
Saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion.
There's no chance that number's right.
Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade.
Bubba, talk about crime or the economy or the border or something.
Yeah, you know he ain't going to touch that.
They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion.
Whatever, I just made that number
Starting
up.
next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks.
Oh, folks, that's on the list. My card, folks.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One with me and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, even Moscow, probably.
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks.
Cost innovation
the
there.
Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare. It's still a very big deal.
This is embarrassing.
It is.
Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition.
What was that? Because of what?
My predecessor.
A pre-squeezing condition.
Many in this chamber want to take their prescription drug away by
Saturday night at Jay's house.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to let that happen.
Oh, whisper. I got that.
We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again.
If I just shout,
in fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it.
I'm going to show myself to be young and bold.
We enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent.
I haven't yet in my first 3 years, but trust me.
Give me 4 more.
Give me.
To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill. Doing an incredible job.
The doctor, White.
The doctor.
It is Maria Shriver. You're right.
That's what I thought.
Yep. She's a couple seats down from Jill Biden.
Isn't that Arnold's wife?
Yeah, ex-wife, yeah.
To pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America.
It's all just like abortion stuff, isn't it?
The
women's health
so
to them is...
Oh, exactly. Kill a baby.
Inflation keeps coming down. Mortgage rates will come down as well. And the Fed acknowledges that.
What?
But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit.
Provide.
That will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years.
Joe promises free stuff. Got that square.
To put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space.
And we have no idea how we're going to pay for it.
But we're going to give it to you.
If you came here illegally, you get twice as much.
And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters. We're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide.
Again,
Now
we have no
pass.
idea how we're going to pay for any of this.
Nope.
Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down.
I know we're broke, but I don't care.
I'm not joking.
To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I, like I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is.
I have no idea how we're going to afford that.
But I'm going to give that to you, too.
So you've been doing the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry. I think, well, they were discussing.
I don't know what they were.
Why I wanted to spend money on education.
Cookie Monster told me they
Pointed out
were.
to them as vice president. I met with over.
Can I cross the Cookie Monster up now?
182 of those folks. Don't hold me the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them.
Testify.
And I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade.
I have no idea how we're going to pay for that either.
I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good-paying job, whether or not they go to college.
He's doing that?
And I want to make sure the college is more affordable.
So we're going to pay for that
Let's
too.
continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs.
Record investments.
And minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. And I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service.
It was illegal, but I did it anyway.
Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you?
Stand up.
Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look.
Folks, oh, I already had that one.
Such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise.
What's his tab so far? Is anybody running a total on this? Do you want the federal government in charge of teacher salaries?
And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion.
Somebody laughed. You heard that?
I heard that.
I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade.
Even though we
It's my
spent
goal
$3
to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and the very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share.
Come on, yes!
Yeah, there it is. Pay their fair share.
I can feel it in my bones.
I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
Even though the top people pay 37%.
It's how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut. Overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%.
That's not true.
The very wealthy and the biggest corporation.
Nope.
And exploded
Liar.
the federal deficit.
Lie.
They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history.
Until I got here.
Yeah.
Check the numbers.
And I came
Folks at
along.
home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair?
I said, hold my beer.
Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
How many times are you going to hit that?
Remember
I only have it on the card
2020,
once.
55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%.
If you think inflation's bad now, just wait till we get done with that.
So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share.
Fair share, man. That's a good one.
I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know
I'm
what
one
the
of
average
them.
federal tax is for those billionaires?
Thank you, China.
No.
Burisma.
They're making
Hunter.
great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse.
And they don't.
I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years.
That we could give to the
Imagine
Ukraine.
what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine a future of home care and elder care and people living with disabilities.
That should be free
so
too,
they can
no?
stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors.
I feel like we're in a sixth grade classroom.
On the other side of the aisle, I want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security or Medicare or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country, pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal.
That's not
Nobody's
You guys don't want another
said
$2
that
trillion
last year,
tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share.
Well, I should just have one card with fair share on
You
it.
should have. You'd had a blackout
Look.
by now.
Too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think
here we go.
you won't notice
Shrinkflation.
if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer.
Come on,
Same-
Cookie
same
Monster.
size
That's what I
bag.
was waiting for.
Cookie
Put
Monster,
fewer
you feel
chips in
me?
it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, 10% fewer Snickers in it.
That's so
Look,
funny.
I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8.
And the credit card companies will get you some other way. But you're
Banks
not
and
smart
credit
enough to
card
know.
companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot, like $8 and 30 some dollars.
What in the world?
They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it.
Then
But
don't
I'm
get
saving
late.
American families
Then don't be late on your
$20
freaking credit card
billion
payment.
a year with all the junk
Exactly.
fees
It's like
I'm eliminating.
we expect more of our house pets.
Folks at home,
Yeah.
that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front so there are no surprises.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
It
that'll
matters.
fix this whole country right there.
It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Here we
Oh,
go.
you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill?
No, they didn't.
I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers.
Steve, they got that on your
100
card.
more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million
Bipartisan
cases.
border security.
4,300 more asylum officers. And new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
All done by him.
What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming.
that
Do it
would-
now with a pen.
The Border
would
Patrol
happen.
Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's getting good.
I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels a political win. He viewed it as would be a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really. I'd
be a winner, not really? What?
I gotta take a drink there.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed.
Lincoln
by an
Riley.
illegal.
He doesn't know her name.
That's right.
Lincoln Riley's
But
a
how many
football
of
coach at
thousands of people being
USC.
killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand.
Oh, Joe calls someone by the
But
wrong
look,
name.
If
Thank
we
you.
change the dynamic at the
Bingo.
border,
I didn't have that.
people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing.
He doesn't know her name.
And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But
I'm surprised he even tried.
if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
Why don't you do it today?
Folks,
do it now.
What a joke.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
No, you want it done so you can give all that money to Ukraine. I want to see one of them. Somebody just got to stand up and go off the deep end on this dude.
And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics, and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's
you want to work with Trump?
Here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. And so much more.
The mumbling's
getting
really bad. I'm losing track here of the mumbles.
I know who we are as Americans.
I feel sorry for the person that has to do the closed captioning.
With a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, and ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans.
There's the white claw.
Knocking up a loogie.
Look, folks. We have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it.
Yeah, Joe, fix it.
I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
What are you talking
about?
Named
Dog-faced
after
ponies?
the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan.
Pony soldier?
To claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten. They were bloody and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him. But joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma. The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday.
She can't get up.
To help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law.
This is me telling you should clap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression.
Oh, yeah.
Election subversion. Unlimited dark money. Extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. The John Lewis Voting Right Act.
Oh, my gosh.
And stop denying another core value of America.
What?
Our diversity across American life. Banning books. It's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history.
Except
I want to
porn
protect
books.
fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back.
And a loogie.
That's the wet
Pass
cough.
the
I got
PRO
that
Act
box.
for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage.
Yeah.
Because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour.
There's nobody that makes $7 an hour.
We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis.
Oh, boy, here we go. Here we go.
Climate
I got a couple.
I
crisis.
don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't.
I don't think I have that on mine. I'm going for black.
I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world.
Come on, existential threat.
I'm cutting
Come
our
on.
carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs like the IBW workers building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
We don't know how we're going to pay for them.
Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030.
Conserving
Taking
what?
action on environmental justice fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution.
What is he saying?
And pattern after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps.
He's
With
going to
20,000 young people to work
restore
to
30% of our
forefront of our
wetlands.
clean energy future.
The
I'll
Climate
triple that
Corps.
number in a decade.
Oh my God! I got to go for a second. That's a good one. The Climate Corps.
Is that like an atmospheric river?
Yeah, kind of.
To
Yeah.
state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office.
It is.
Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up.
What was that?
Oh, here come the
The
Gaza
biggest
people.
increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add.
What happened
We
there?
made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers.
Meanwhile, the
more mental health workers.
National Guard in the
more
subways in New
community
York City.
violence
Yeah, more community police
Give
officers.
communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or having on their
Even
record.
though it was against the law when they broke the law. Nobody should be held accountable for that.
Take on crimes of
Come on.
domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America.
A scourge of women against America?
They must have put in the teleprompter, shout really loud when you say this.
There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message. so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House.
Oh, I see. We got an
the
office.
Vice President is leading the charge.
An office in the White House.
We did.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Don't.
What do you want to do, Joe?
Don't.
What law are you going to pass?
I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Oh, we got that somewhere.
Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners.
Well, just going to ban
as we manage
semi-automatics.
challenges at home, we're also managing crises
that.
abroad, including in the Middle East.
Well, he goes from gun owners to the Middle East.
I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home.
Yeah.
We also...
I clap for that, too.
Get to work.
Yeah, get to work is right.
We will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th.
Yep.
But Israel has Israel has
there's a wet one.
a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though.
That was Israel.
To protect innocent civilians in Gaza.
It's war, Joe. Can't separate the groups out. Kamal's going, yeah, I was getting nervous
there.
It's taken
a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking.
The closed captioner has no idea.
That's what I said earlier. How'd you have that job tonight?
For 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released. To get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring,
we're going to put up a sign here.
Enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
That's not your country, Joe. Talk about and fix the stuff that's in your country.
And Israel must do its part.
Shut up about Israel. Let them
Israel must allow more aid into Gaza.
No, they must not do anything. You have jack squat reason to tell them
they're announcing
that all
they're
what they should do.
They're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this. Humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration.
Come on.
Or a bargaining chip.
Let them fight their war, dude.
Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time.
He's losing altitude.
Does that mean a two-state solution?
Yeah, I think there's smoke
and
coming from the tail.
As a lifelong supporter of Israel, my entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here.
Sure.
Oh, my.
I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime. But there is no other path
they haven't been in
that
war
guarantees
before.
Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America is falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade.
What is the GDP?
And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that.
Really?
I want competition with China, not conflict.
Yeah.
And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. But there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online.
What?
Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers.
Camp Lejeune.
Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H. And remind us that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will.
I know we haven't done it yet, but dang it, we will. Trust me, I know I haven't done any of this stuff yet.
Let me close with this.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say, you beat me to it, Steve.
Thank you, Lord.
I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever.
Oh, yeah.
My speech
I know
isn't
the
one
American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity.
Really?
Don't even start.
To respect everyone, to give everyone a fair
Lindsay's gonna
shot, to
kick
give
out of
hate
that.
no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service.
Whatever.
Time to go.
I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president.
And you've done nothing.
I'm going to stand up and clap for myself. I feel very special.
In my career, I've been told I was too young. By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. Not a joke. I've been told I'm too old.
I'm not joking.
Whether young or old,
I'm going with
known,
it. I'm taking it.
I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are. It's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back.
Oh, my goodness.
You need America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine.
Yeah, we did.
I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence.
He needed to call climate change an existential threat. He didn't do that.
I see a future for all Americans.
Darn it.
I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America.
Are we?
And there is nothing.
You sure about that?
Some form of that.
Beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, now let's get him falling off the. Oh.
Now, let's see. Does he know where he's going? I got one more shot here.
He's waddling around the dais still.
Yeah. I think he'll find his way at this point.
I don't know.
We lose audio?
There's just nothing else to hear.
Sometimes you get
we want to hear the
a
fall.
little conversation.
Okay, got that square.
No, there's no airplane steps to walk up, so maybe we won't.
Well, he's got a couple steps. Well, one,
nope,
two.
He's off. He did it. No, he did it.
He did what? Step down 2 steps?
Yeah. No, congratulations, Joe. I mean, you take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah. The win tonight was you made it down 2 stairs.
Yeah. It's
Well, you guys feel invigorated? You feel ready to march on? We got great leadership.
Do you recall a speech more disconnected from reality?
No. Nothing on the economy, nothing on the border, none of that. It is just a bunch of garbage, pure garbage.
Well, he talked about the border, but he keeps referring back to this quote-unquote bipartisan border bill that he's talking about. Okay, my takeaways are, number one, you can talk about anything you want about, I do this and I do that, and the country's going to be better if I do this, and I've done this to make the country better. The country with the United States is nothing if it's not financially solvent. We have a massive debt problem right now that a lot of experts think that we cannot recover from. And so if you've got that kind of impending doom, you've got to try to figure out how to minimize that problem. There's nobody that looks at it that says that this is not a problem of some kind. Yet all we got tonight was promises about how I want to give you this and I want to give you that. It should have been called the Santa Claus of the Union, not the State of the Union, because it's just one Christmas wish after the next with this guy. And he uses words like investment and contribution and all of these things, but there's no way that you can look at anything as successful or fundamentally sound when it is a disaster financially. Nothing. And all he talked about was how they want to keep spending. He clearly has no concept of the idea of what creates financial strength, because otherwise we were heard a much different speech there. I am always amazed with these speeches how there's no accountability at all. You can just say anything you want. Yeah. And it all sounds good, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and you cherry pick a statistic and talked about how we're going to do this and do that. On the Israel-Palestine thing, I thought he started out really well, talking about this could be done now if Hamas drops its weapons and gives up the hostages.
But wait!
That's the only thing that needs to be said here.
Yeah, of course not.
But of course not. And what he and everybody else, the squad and everybody else, has to keep reminding themselves of, or learn it for the first time, is if you start a war with somebody else, you don't get to decide how they end it. And yes, there's going to be innocent life loss.
That's
when
war.
we dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was there anybody running around going, we might have some innocent children die? It's war. Innocent people are going to die. I'm sorry. In an adult world, these things happen. That's number 2. Number 3. It drives me nuts when I hear somebody say, we can't go back to the past, those ancient ideas. What do you suppose made this the most powerful country on the face of the earth? Those time-honored principles, conservative principles, where we're going to do immigration right. We're going to pay our bills. We're going to have a balanced budget. We're going to have law and order. We're going to have justice. We're going to have jails. We're going to have deterrent. We're going to have police officers. We're going to do what we can to keep drugs off our streets. That's what these people are hiking millions of miles through the Mexican wilderness for, not some LGBT or green policy thing. Let's go back to those ideas, because you know what? Those mother effing ideas worked.
They did.
They worked, and that's how we built this country to where it is right now. Last thing I have is this, Jay. I'm going to piggyback on what you just said there. Did that guy give you hope about anything at all?
Nothing.
If you're a thinking person, now, if you're a trans, if you're a climate, if you're a Palestine, whatever, okay. But if you're a thinking person who looks at problems and says, how do we solve this? Did he give you anything there that gives you any hope? Did he wake anything up in you that made you feel like, you know what, our best days are ahead of us? At the very end, he said our best days, but he didn't say how. He didn't say where they were going to go to get there. All it is just a whole bunch of, I hate Donald Trump. Our best days are ahead of us. Yeah. But I still hate Donald Trump, and that's what I heard tonight.
It's all pure crap. The whole thing was.
My predecessor was probably the thing he used the most.
No.
You know, he loved to weave that in.
Well, Scott, you said it perfectly. This was nothing but campaigning. That's all this was.
But I don't even think it. You know, I don't know that he
didn't
persuaded one person on the left, the right, the middle, or anywhere else. No. Katie Britt is a Republican from Alabama. She's going to give the Republican response.
Yeah, as soon as she's ready, we'll get that on here too. By the way, if you want to jump on and give us your 2 cents, what you thought, phone lines are open, 701-271-1100. When Katie comes on for the Republican response, we will play that.
Look at this News Nation woman. She's stirred up about something. Just watching one of the monitors here in the studio. She's got to be like us, though. You can't have that speech and be spiking the football. I wouldn't. I don't know. I guess who knows?
You know what also makes it very effective when you yell.
Yeah.
You know, when like a deranged lunatic. I see a future where we defend democracy, not diminish it. Easy there, Grandpa.
Everything is a shout. It's the only way he can seem vital and youthful and vigorous is to shout.
Like he's got this power, you know. It's a weak man. Very weak man.
Kamala Harris got a good workout tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Jack in the Box.
Mm-hmm. Boy, could I insert jokes here, but I'll just let it go. I'll let it go.
Do you guys think,
I have no respect.
Do you guys think that the Dems that were chanting 4 more years, do you think they're bought into Joe being there for 4 more years?
No, but that's the party, man. They know how to make themselves look or feel or sound like they're united. I mean, nobody's buying this garbage. 4 more years. They're already behind the scenes working to push him and get him off this 2024 ticket.
If you've not heard my little diatribe, I do it every so often when we do these things about paying their fair share. Let me just throw this in quick. Okay, if you make, I'll just pick a number here. If you make $50,000 a year, you're in a 15% tax bracket. If you make $1 million a year, anything you have over like $400,000, you're at a 37% tax bracket. 37% versus 15%. If the person making $1 million was just taxed 15% with a flat tax, would we all not agree they're paying their fair share?
They are paying their fair share.
They're paying way more, but they don't pay 15%. It's a graduated scale. You pay more and more as your income goes up and up. So at the top end of it, if you're making, say, $2 million a year, that second million is all taxed at 37.2. But so 372,000 of that million is going to taxes, and yet Joe Biden has the audacity to stand up there and say we're not paying fair share.
But the Dems have always done that.
It's never enough. Exactly. I mean, they have an insatiable appetite for your money, and they think they know how to spend it better. I mean, I'd love for somebody to run a calculator on what he proposed tonight.
Oh, that would be good. Yep,
buddy. Craig's back in more. Craig.
2 quick points. Langford, when they showed his face, when he talked about the Senate bipartisan bill that would allow 5,000 people in a day, and he's using that, and that idiot Langford gave him the wherewithal to use that. And the other point I'll make, Hamas. How many people is Egypt letting in from Gaza? None.
Yep.
Ask yourself, why not?
Oh.
There you go.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
Obviously, hateful racists there in Egypt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People that look exactly like them.
Yes. And, James Langford put some good things into that bill. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad things in the bill, and I think actually the Democrats put some things in there they knew Republicans would never vote for, so they wouldn't actually have to do any of this.
And then they could turn around and blame the Republicans.
Right. Because there was billions in there for sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
Sanctuary cities who said, hey, come here. We want you illegal immigrants. You can be here. And now go, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Now
we can't afford this anymore.
It's not such a good idea anymore, is it?
You can't reward them for that.
701-271-1100 Common Sense Club hanging out here. If you want to jump in. And can't you see just like listening to us, the excitement we have tonight in our voices? We are just so pumped.
It's just so hard. When earlier on my show, it is. Earlier on my show, somebody said, I want to be a guy that says, let's compromise and find common ground. But the speeches that we hear like this make you realize how little common ground we can really find.
Yeah, you're not going to find any.
You just can't. I mean, what are you going to compromise with? People that believe in butchering babies up until the minute they're born, people that are intentionally bankrupting the country for whatever reason they have, I don't know. The people that don't seem to care at all if there's terrorists coming across. How do you compromise on that? How do you negotiate on
These
this?
people live in a world that we just can't wrap our heads around. You can't compromise with that because they have no ideas that are plausible ideas.
No, I don't know that Biden laid out much of any platform or agenda.
He didn't lay out anything.
Other than we're going to spend money.
Blame.
That's very easy to say, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to spend money. How about talking about, we're going to, take regulations off the books. We're going to deregulate that. That takes a little bit of money, but it just takes more of a stomach for trying to get something done. Let's talk about those kind of accomplishments. Let's talk about standing up for things that are going to actually make the country safe. We don't hear much of anything about that. So just empty speeches tonight. No real data points. The facts. I want to know legitimately where he's getting his numbers about reducing the deficit, because there's no metric with the spending that we do right now that tells you. I mean, the deficit, all you can say is, here's the money we bring in and here's what we spend. There's no measure at all that shows you that the money that we're bringing in is growing compared to outpacing the pace of our spending. So I don't know where he gets that from. If it's like on a third page of a budget somewhere and they're doing some math tricks, I don't know.
What's ever tossed in front of them. Tammy's in Fargo. Tammy, you're up on the Common Sense Club.
Hey. Thank you for your show. It's amazing and fun. But
thanks, Tammy.
Is it just me, or did anybody else notice how much Biden slurred?
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
And he called Kamala Harris Harris.
Yeah, he was butchering. It was like this guy was running the knives in a meat shop. He's butchering everything. It was just like, wow. And that the leaders around the world, the countries that hate us, the ones that are friends, that they were all watching us, but our enemy countries are watching us going, oh, this is fantastic.
Yep.
This is the guy that's leading the number one country in the world. This is the guy that we have to answer to. We ain't answering.
And by the way, I had the mumble meter job tonight of counting his mumbles.
Yeah,
there's 25 plus.
Oh, at least
I quit counting at 25.
I was going to say, how were you able to keep up?
I think you're right because I kept commenting to my boyfriend, and he's like, "Would you just stop?" I'm like, "No, this is horrible."
It is.
Well, here's the biggest.
It's embarrassing.
The biggest issue I had tonight. He called Laken Riley Lincoln Riley.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Riley is the head coach of the USC football team. Laken Riley is the girl that's dead and had her skull deformed by this lunatic. He doesn't know her name, and shame on him for putting that woman's name in his mouth when he runs the kind of program that he does at the southern border. He should be ashamed of himself, and that just shows you that guy's got no class
100%.
whatsoever to put her name in his mouth tonight.
He's a scumbag.
He's a scumbag.
Okay, I have to ask you guys this, because this is a point of contention between me and several other people. Mm-hmm. So Biden was all about putting down Putin. You know what? Putin is trying to take down the head of the snake. And people might not know what that means, but Putin's not our enemy. Biden is making him our enemy. What is going on in other countries is not, we can't believe what we're being fed by the current media.
You know what? It's funny you say that, Tammy. Let me give you a little story. So when I was out filming in Arizona, one of the gentlemen I filmed owned one of the biggest roofing companies in the desert Southwest. But he also owns multiple hot rod shops, metal shops. And he was telling us, usually we try not to talk politics, but if the people we're hanging out with, they bring it up, hey, let's talk, unless it's Biden stuff, but we never run into those people. He was telling us how he's following this guy on, I believe it's Instagram, and he was looking for parts for this big truck that he was building. And he's following this guy out of Russia. And he said, for the hell of it, I reached out to this guy, was messaging him, see if there's any way he could get this part for this truck. He said, I knew it was a long shot. He said, I couldn't believe it. Within a half hour, the guy reached back to me. He said, yeah, we got the part. So then he started talking to him about just how bad is it over in Russia. Right. And he said, Jay, they're over there laughing. He said, the guy showing me video as I'm talking to him, they're at a big carnival on some lake or something. He said what you American people are being fed, it's a bunch of lies. We don't even know there's a war going on over here. It's life as usual. Yep. It's just unbelievable, the garbage that's being fed to us.
I have a hard time saying that there's not some culpability here, though, with Putin. You can't invade a country the way he did and say that there's not something sinister about the guy. You just can't. I can't get there, Tammy.
Listen,
you might have a point here, but
relatives in Ukraine, and we did a family Skype chat this summer, and my stepdad, my mom's husband, my mom's deceased, but he grew up over in Russia and Czechoslovakia. So all I heard, we were on Skype with them, and all I heard was da, 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 their language, and then Biden, ha, 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 ha. Biden, ha, 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 ha. They were laughing at our government.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that.
In Czechoslovakia.
I'm just saying Putin's nobody's hero.
Video of it.
Yeah.
But
no, I get all that.
What Russia is doing in Czechoslovakia is nothing new. It's not new. It's no different than what Israel and Hamas is going through. It's a fight over a little border, but our American media is putting way more into it than is necessary.
Yeah, I
Tammy, appreciate the phone call.
I completely disagree with that. If you want to say Putin's a good guy and whatever, it's just going to be hard for me.
Yeah, I don't think Putin's a good guy, but with what Tammy's saying is we're being fed a lot of BS over this thing.
That could very well be.
Yeah.
701. Thanks, Tammy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Tammy. 701-271-1100 if you want to jump in, or you can email us to studio@flagfamily.com. It is 9:52 Central Time right now. Also, you can follow the chat, and don't forget to describe. I'm biting out here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, AM 1100 The Flag, and when us three knuckleheads get together and decide that this is more fun than sitting in the hot tub having some beers in my backyard after work.
It's not more fun than that.
Yeah. You'll know when we're on. Make sure you hit the bell. You'll get notifications.
Yeah, and most of the time we don't sit around and stammer for a half hour before we start doing anything like we had to tonight.
Because there's just no excitement around this guy.
Well,
this guy, I'm going to drive all the way home tonight just pissed off and bummed out because we got 8 more months of this garbage.
God forbid that we get more than 8 months, because I don't know.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, honestly, let's have this conversation. Let's try to at least get our blood boiling here, because my blood doesn't even get boiling over this because it's just a joke. If we get, what are we going to do? I'm dead serious. What are we going to do if for some reason Trump does not get in and we got 8 more years of this garbage?
My name is Katie Britt. and I have the honor of serving the people of the great state of Alabama in the United States Senate. However, that's not the job that matters most. I am a proud wife and mom of 2 school-aged kids. My daughter Bennett and my son Ridgway are why I ran for the Senate. I'm worried about their future and the future of children in every corner of our nation.
Boy, she's breathy.
And that's why I invited you into our home tonight. Like so many families across America, my husband Wesley and I just watched President Biden's State of the Union address from our living room.
I know, I'm sorry, we did too.
And what we saw was the performance of a permanent politician who has actually been in office for longer than I've been alive. One thing was quite clear, though. President Biden just doesn't get it. He's out of touch. Under his administration, families are worse off, our communities are less safe, and our country is less secure. I just wish he understood what real families are facing around kitchen tables just like this one. You know, this is where our family has tough conversations. It's where we make hard decisions. It's where we share the good, the bad, and the ugly of our days. It's where we laugh together, and it's where we hold each other's hands and pray for God's guidance. And many nights, to be honest, it's where Wesley and I worry. I know we're not alone. And so tonight, the American family needs to have a tough conversation, because the truth is, we're all worried about the future of our nation. The country we know and love seems to be slipping away, and it feels like the next generation will have fewer opportunities and less freedoms than we did. I worry my own children may not even get a shot at living their American dreams. My American dream allowed me, the daughter of 2 small business owners from rural Enterprise, Alabama, to be elected to the United States Senate at the age of 40. Growing up, sweeping the floor at my dad's hardware store and cleaning the bathroom at my mom's dance studio, I never could have imagined what my story would entail. To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime, it's truly breathtaking. But right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare for so many families. The true, unvarnished state of our union begins and ends with this. Our families are hurting.
Okay, Katie, we get it. Can you give us some policy points here or
do
something?
Better.
That's a little dramatic.
And you don't have to look any further than the crisis at our southern border to see it. President Biden inherited the most secure border of all time. But minutes after taking office, he suspended all deportations, he halted construction of the border wall, and he announced a plan to give amnesty to millions. We know that President Biden didn't just create this border crisis, he invited it. With 94 executive actions in his first 100 days. When I took office, I took a different approach. I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me. She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12. She told me not just that she was raped every day, but how many times a day she was raped. The cartels put her on a mattress in a shoebox of a room, and they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end. We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it. President Biden's border policies are a disgrace. This crisis is despicable. And the truth is, it is almost entirely preventable. From fentanyl poisonings to horrific murders, there are empty chairs tonight at kitchen tables just like this one because of President Biden's senseless border policies. Just think about Laken Riley. In my neighboring state of Georgia, this beautiful 22-year-old nursing student went out on a jog one morning, but she never got the opportunity to return home. She was brutally murdered by one of the millions of illegal border crossers President Biden chose to release into our homeland. Y'all, as a mom, I can't quit thinking about this. I mean, this could have been my daughter. This could have been yours. And tonight, President Biden finally said her name.
Wrong.
But he refused to take responsibility for his own actions. Mr. President, enough is enough. Innocent Americans are dying, and you only have yourself to blame. Fulfill your oath of office. Reverse your policies. End this crisis and stop the suffering. Sadly, we know that President Biden's failures don't stop there. His reckless spending dug our economy into a hole and sent the cost of living through the roof. We have the worst inflation in 40 years and the highest credit card debt in our nation's history. Let that sink in. Hardworking families are struggling to make ends meet today. And with soaring mortgage rates and sky-high childcare costs, they're also struggling to how to plan for tomorrow. The American people are scraping by, while President Biden proudly proclaims that Bidenomics is working. Goodness, y'all, bless his heart, we know better. I'll never forget stopping at a gas station in Chilton County one evening. The gentleman working the counter told me that after retiring, he had to pick up a job in his 70s so that he didn't have to choose between going hungry or going without his medication. He said, I did everything right. I did everything I was told to do. I worked hard, I saved, I was responsible. He's not alone. I hear similar concerns from fellow parents, whether I am walking with my friends or whether I'm at my kids' games. But let's be honest, it's been a minute since Joe Biden pumped gas, ran a carpool, or even pushed a grocery cart. Meanwhile, the rest of us see our dollar and we know it doesn't go as far. We see it every day. And despite what he tells you, our communities are not safer. For years, the left has coddled criminals and defunded the police, all while letting repeat offenders walk free. The result is tragic, but foreseeable. From our small towns to America's most iconic city streets, life is getting more and more dangerous. And unfortunately, President Biden's weakness isn't just hurting families here at home. He is making us a punchline on the world stage. Look, where I'm from, your word is your bond. But for 3 years, the president has demonstrated that America's word doesn't mean what it used to. From abandoning our allies in his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan to desperately pushing another dangerous deal with Iran.
I'm with her on all this, but this is going to be a Saturday Night Live skit this week.
Oh, you know, it's already being written, buddy. I mean, we'll talk about when she's done. We'll talk about it.
A little over dramatic.
A little bit of a drama queen.
And the enemies of freedom, they see an opportunity. Putin's brutal aggression in Europe has put our allies on the brink. Iran's terrorist proxies have slaughtered Israeli, Jews, and American citizens. They've targeted commercial shipping, and they've attacked our troops nearly 200 times since October, killing 3 U.S. soldiers and 2 Navy SEALs. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is undercutting America's workers. China is buying up our farmland, spying on our military installations, and spreading propaganda through the likes of TikTok. You see, the CCP knows that if it conquers the minds of our next generation, it conquers America. And what does President Biden do? Well, he bans TikTok for government employees, but creates an account for his own campaign. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. Look, we all recall when presidents faced national security threats with strength and resolve. That seems like ancient history. Right now, our commander-in-chief is not in command. The free world deserves better than a dithering and diminished leader. America deserves leaders who recognize that secure borders, stable prices, safe streets, and a strong defense are actually the cornerstones of
She
a
sounds like she's
great
about to cry.
nation.
She has the whole time.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, are you better off now than you were 3 years ago? There's no doubt we're at a crossroads, and it doesn't have to be this way. We all feel it. But here's the good news. We, the people, are still in the driver's seat. We get to decide whether our future will grow brighter or whether we'll settle for an America in decline. Well, I know which choice our children deserve, and I know the choice the Republican Party is fighting for. We are the party of hard-working parents and families, and we want to give you and your children the opportunities to thrive. And we want families to grow. It's why we strongly support continued nationwide access to in vitro fertilization. We want to help loving moms and dads bring precious life into this world. Wesley and I believe there is no greater blessing in life than our children. And that's why tonight, I want to make a direct appeal to the parents out there, and in particular to my fellow moms, many of whom I know will be up tossing and turning at 2 a.m., wondering how you're going to be in 3 places at once and then somehow still get dinner on the table. First of all, we see you, we hear you, and we stand with you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're probably disgusted by most of what you see going on in Washington, and I'll be really honest with you, you're not wrong for feeling that way. Look, I get it. The task in front of us isn't an easy one, but I can promise you one thing. It is worth it. So I am asking you, for the sake of your kids and your grandkids, get into the arena. Every generation has been called to do hard things. American greatness rests in the fact that we always answer that call. it's who we are. Never forget, we are steeped in the blood of patriots who overthrew the most powerful empire in the world. We walk in the footsteps of pioneers who tamed the wild. We now carry forward the same flame of freedom as the liberators of an oppressed Europe. We continue to draw courage from those who bent the moral arc of the universe. And when we gaze upon the heavens, never forget that our DNA contains the same ingenuity that put man on the moon. America has been tested before, and every single time we've emerged unbowed and unbroken. Our history has been written with the grit of men and women who got knocked down. But we know their stories because they did not stay down. We are here because they stood back up. So now
Who's coaching her on how to deliver this speech?
Yeah, we'll talk about this when we're done.
Ourselves worthy of protecting the American dream. Together, we can reawaken the heroic spirit of a great nation. Because America, we don't just have a rendezvous with destiny. We take destiny's hand and we lead it. Our future starts around kitchen tables just like this, with moms and dads just like you. And you are why I believe with every fiber of my being that despite the current state of our union, our best days are still ahead. May God bless you.
Oh, thank you, Lord,
that
that this is done.
continue to bless these United States of America.
Okay.
What she said was not bad. It's just how she said it.
I couldn't even say.
She's a drama queen. You got to be so. This is who they picked to give the rebuttal from the Republican Party. It's a horrible pick.
It's a 40-year-old mom.
That's a 40-year-old. She's so phony sounding.
It was a good pick, but it wasn't pulled off very good.
Yeah.
Put Kristi Noem up there.
There you go.
She needed a little more Kristi Noem delivery.
Put Kristi Noem up there.
She did, yeah.
That was who makes that decision?
Well,
I'm
seriously,
serious.
did
This
she
is typical
rehearse this
Republican
one
Party.
time and have somebody listen to her? I mean, my gosh, save her from herself. Or somebody must have told her, we want you to really lay it on thick. But that was terrible.
By the way, the best post of the night from Donald Trump. You ready for this? Here's what Donald Trump said after the speech. Watching Sleepy Joe wander around the House chamber for 25 minutes trying to ask where to go. Trump says, don't shake his hand. He's been coughing into it all night.
All right.
That's the truth.
Oh, goodness. All right, I've had enough.
Yeah,
This
I don't
was
know what
awful.
else to say,
Quitters.
fellas.
Yeah.
Quitters.
I wish Katie Britt would have talked about. She
guys,
talked about the moms and.
We have Hovind's response if you want it.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You want that?
Yeah,
Senator John
absolutely.
Hovind's response? All right, go ahead, roll it.
Whether it's inflation and Bidenomics. Well, we have inflation because of those policies.
No, we can't
hear anything.
Taxing,
We can't hear anything.
Spending and more
I'm
regular.
gonna click that button that says something.
Sound?
That might be too.
Anyway.
All right.
Katie needed to talk about how gas prices need to come down and how that would help all those moms trying to be three places at the same time, worrying about it at 2 a.m.
No, that's evil fossil fuel.
Well, but Katie could say that
Yeah, she
because, look, I mean, what she said was
good.
She was appealing to
I know
a certain group of people.
I get that, but guys, come on, let's be real here. That was brutal.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
The delivery was brutal. I don't think what she said was brutal.
No, she's probably a sweetheart.
Oh, I'm not saying she's not, but
give her a
what she
couple
said
of-
was yes.
Yeah.
What she said was right, but when she delivered it, it lost everything. It's
I
like,
know.
oh my god,
Give her a couple of Voodoo Rangers and let her try it again because that would just settle the whole thing down a little bit, and we would be able to hear just from her heart. But she needed to talk more about the issues, not just about moms. We hear you. We see you.
I was waiting for
we get all that.
break
but
out in tears.
Yeah, no, I mean, just talk about the issues that we're really getting. It's Doug Burgum had it right. Talk about safety, talk about national security, talk about energy, talk about the economy, and you win. And if we get to those things and having a secure financial future for the country, I think there are a lot of people in the middle who will gravitate toward that message. Unfortunately, any good message that she had there was lost with the Shakespearean festival that we saw tonight after the State of the Union.
But you're just on a roll,
I'm
man.
Sorry. I'm calling like I see it.
No, you don't apologize. It's fantastic. We usually don't get to see this side of Steve Hallstrom.
She's cute as a button, all that stuff.
But it was brutal.
It was brutal.
Our chat room on our YouTube page, they're just beating the living daylights out of her, too.
A shame on whoever put her up to that.
By the way, I
didn't coach her some.
Thad in Nebraska, I won the bingo card challenge way into it.
I got close.
You got close.
I only got
I was
4.
following on yours,
I
too.
needed to lose track of it and say,
anyway. I need the Babylon Bee right now.
Okay, what do you got?
Yeah.
They have a live shot of the State of the Union address. See there?
It's a dumpster fire.
It's an actual dumpster fire. Yeah.
They posted that earlier tonight, so... All right, when are we doing this again, JT?
Oh, come on, JT. Come on.
Find us something a little more exciting to talk about.
Please don't make us sit through this again, ever.
The next time, here's what we'll do. The next time we're doing this is when, how about no? All right. How about Monday morning, big announcement. How about this? How about when there is, I doubt it'll ever happen, but if it did, could we have fun afterwards? The Trump-Biden debate.
Yeah, yeah. That would be good.
And whatever, when they announce that Biden is not going to be on the ticket and they pick somebody else, we have to
Jay's
be all
going to
over
say
that.
the entire time, I told you so.
You know I am.
Yeah, you are.
You know I am.
And I'm on that train too, by the way.
Yeah, Scott, you got to get on the train, buddy.
The guy that was heckling Biden was a Gold Star father.
Really?
Yeah, his son was killed by a terrorist suicide bomber during the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Good.
Good for him.
There were no Palestinian freaks there tonight. I thought we'd see one.
I figured somebody'd slip in.
Rashid Tlaib had the
no, but we mean some kind of protester slipping in. Have either one of you two ever been to one of these?
Yeah.
What's the security like, Scott? I mean,
I was there pre 9/11, I think.
Okay.
So it would have been a little bit different there.
Scotty sat on the stage for a little while during the thing. It was a little.
Really?
It was a different
FBI
time.
looking for you? Oh, that was
different time.
before then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
sayonara.
Yeah, and
sorry,
I'd like to
sorry
say that
couldn't bring more entertainment to you tonight.
Well, it was pretty tough when you got that guy, up there on the at the podium.
I'd like to say that we could come back for another episode of the Common Sense Club when Trump clinches the nomination, but that's going to be so anticlimactic.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's already happened basically, so we might just have a long dead period till the convention.
Yeah,
in July 14th.
But still, go subscribe and like that our YouTube channel, AM 1100 The Flag. You never know. Maybe pop up a little quick 1 minute, 2 minute videos. And if you hit that bell, then you'll know when we got something new up there because you'll get a notification on your phone.
We'll try something.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
All right. Be
Thank
good, everybody.
goodness this wasn't a drinking game. We'd all be sleeping here tonight.
Yeah, would
correct. Yep. All right. See you next time on the Common Sense Club, folks. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Bye.